you gentlemen from Russell, and we all talk a lot about jobs and the economy, and we talk about these Band-Aid fixes and lipstick economic development policies. We talk about, but we talk, but we don't walk. And quite frankly, I'm tired of it. So here we are today, talking about raising the minimum wage. And a month or so ago, Washington, D.C. was talking about raising the unemployment benefits. The fact that these easy policies are becoming more and more part of our discourse is because the policies of the status quo are failing. We don't need any more Band-Aids here in Kentucky. What we need is job growth. We need more Kentuckians employed. Job growth will lead to an increased wage. However, I remind this body of the old saying, let's not put the cart before the horse. If we care about people, then we will adhere to that line as we consider the issue before us today. On the farm and in cutting tobacco, which is my trade, we like paying by the stick. That way we get the production we need at a cost we can afford with the budget that we have to work with. So a slow cutter or fast cutter is no matter, so to speak, in cutting tobacco. But if out in the field I would have to start paying by the hour, a slow cutter or fast cutter would matter a great deal. I would likely have to pay the slow cutter a lower wage. And not only because it's fair to the fast cutter and to me as the employer, but the slow cutter is in a sense paying for the experience for the increased production by accepting a lowerly hourly wage first. Once he or she has increased production, they can easily get to a higher wage. In other words, a higher minimum wage would warrant that I only hire fast cutters and experienced cutters because I cannot afford to train an untrained and unskilled hand that I pay universally by the hour. And that has everything to do with why raising the minimum wage hurts entry-level workers as well as employers and small businesses here in Kentucky. A recent statement by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce agrees with this farmer by saying that minimum wage does kill jobs. I'm a young guy, and I'm for people in my age range getting to work early on in life. It sets a tone for the rest of their life of hard work and appreciation for that work. I remember my father-in-law. He's a humble man, but in my eyes, he's one of the American heroes that we all know that are in our districts. He's a man that started out with a single mother of 2 kids in a poor part of our state, and he did odd jobs off and on, mowing yards and things, but the first real job of employment that he got was at Winn-Dixie in Richmond, making minimum wage. And that gave him a desire to have a little bit more money in his pocket to be able to do things that he wanted to do, things that he needed to do. And that allowed him to get that work ethic and that drive to go forward and to get other jobs. Now he's an assistant general manager at TTAI in Somerset. That's a success story. That's an American dream story. What I don't want us to take away the opportunities that our young people have today and have had in the past, opportunities that I had, many of you had. By raising the minimum wage, we're going to be taking away those opportunities. What we don't need are these Band-Aid fixes. We need actual job growth here in Kentucky. And I'd also like to point out that teenagers ages 16 to 19 were employed in 2006, before that minimum wage increase, at 42%. And then Congress raised the minimum wage. And in no time, by 2010, the minimum wage, or that age range, the employment rate had dropped to 28%. 28% from 42%. A weak economy coupled with raising the cost of inexperienced labor resulted in teens and entry-level workers losing their jobs then, and it most certainly will do so now. And I don't care for that at all, Mr. Speaker. What we also have learned from extensive research by some of our economists, even here in the LRC, is that raising the minimum wage is increased. We actually see a decline in earned income. This is due to a loss of hours worked and gainful employment from those wage earners near the breaking point. It pushes more citizens into the poor and near poor category of those income levels. Why on earth would we want to do that here in Kentucky? Why would we want to repeat that? I'm for workers. I'm for people entering the workforce and gaining valuable experience and on-the-job training. And I'm for the businesses who hire them. I'm for seeing entry-level workers and young people moving up the ladder quickly. And I'm for that American dream where hard work equals success. But what I'm not for is removing those young people from the equation. That's exactly what this bill does. It's fitting that today is President Reagan's birthday, of remembering what he said, that the 9 most horrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." We, as the government, can't make someone automatically experienced and trained, and a minimum wage increase won't do that either. With an increased minimum wage, an entry-level applicant finds themselves unmarketable and unemployable because we, the government, tried to help. We, the government, need to get out of the way. Preventing a person and preventing people my age and younger the ability to enter the workforce is unfair and not the answer, Mr. Speaker. We've heard in the debate that a small increase in minimum wage would create a good number of jobs. If that were true, then why not make it a huge increase? Why not make it $20 or $50 an hour? Because it's hogwash. Let me tell you, it's hogwash. Increasing the minimum wage increases unemployment, not employment, and always has. Increasing the minimum wage increases costs of small businesses, and it violates those free market principles, and it always has. Increasing the minimum wage hurts the poorest and the youngest and the least experienced, and it always will. Ladies and gentlemen of this body, dignity requires job availability, personal autonomy, and the individual liberty. And what will follow that? A higher wage. A higher wage accomplished the right way by protecting jobs we have, by protecting those entry-level workers that are in those jobs currently, and creating an economy conducive to a higher wage. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back to the gentleman from Russell.
Gentleman from Russell.